recently covered a story on the new beer tax that the Alberta NDP incorporated in with the October 27th, 2015 budget. The tax is unconstitutional because under the Constitution, goods from other provinces entering another province shouldn't be taxed. But the NDP brought it in anyways, and even though they reasoned that the tax was put in place to help small businesses and create jobs, it's actually doing the opposite. The tax has now been applied to brewers outside of BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, so anyone outside of the New West Partnership deal. And it hit everyone overnight, affecting profit margins, business costs, and consumer choice almost instantly. I decided to go out and talk to some of these business owners to see exactly how this tax is affecting them. First, I talked to Bo, who I introduced in my last story. She and her husband Mike are the owners of Artisan Ales, and they import beer from Quebec and Europe. They have a very impressive portfolio with some highly ranked beers. One of their featured beer rock stars is Dieu de Sel, a brewery based in Quebec that's had to deal with a 525% increase in taxes since the new system was introduced. When I asked Bo what other effects this new tax has had on her business and what kind of changes they've had to make, here's what she told me.
We've definitely seen a decrease in sales in Alberta. So we've been trying to mitigate that by moving product into Saskatchewan and Manitoba, who have actually improved their liquor systems in the meantime.
So we are now losing business to other provinces. And keep in mind that not only do some of these businesses have to deal with the tax increase, but they also have had to deal with fluctuations in foreign currencies. European beers obviously deal in euros, and think about the exchange rate on the American dollar right now. Those businesses bringing in imports are taking real hits just for exchange rates alone. Next, I talked to Jeff at Bottle Screw Bill's, who were the first pub in Calgary to bring in import beers. They've now been in business for 36 years and started off with a very small selection of imports, but now they have over 300 different beers on hand. When I asked Jeff about what kinds of changes they've had to make to their business, he filled me in. Just watch.
I had to delist a fair amount of menu items just because we can't charge what we need to make a profit on certain items, and that's not really fair to any of our customers that are used to drinking certain beers that they could get at a reasonable price beforehand.
Clearly, Bottle Screw Bill's has taken a hit, and I'm sure the story is the same for many other businesses. They've had to take some beers off their menu, had to swallow the tax increases, pass it along to their customers overnight, and had to have their menus reprinted. Not only this, but the minimum wage has also increased, and the unemployment crisis means that people are going out a lot less. For many businesses, they're suffering with multifaceted tax, wage, and price increases as a result of this dynamic. I also talked to John, who owns and operates 2 Oak and Vine liquor stores in the city with his wife. They started their business based on their passion for first wine, then beer, and other liquors. They've been taking a lot of hits and have been trying to improvise with selling product through merchandising techniques by simply breaking up packs, selling individual bottles, and giving some beers preferential shelf space. And when I asked him what effects the new tax are having on his business, he said that it's affecting profit margins, and the way it was rolled out was truly unfair. But he also mentioned that he thinks it's affected relationships within the industry. Here.
I would say that it has affected more than anything. It's driven a bit of a wedge between the local beer industry and some of the people that sell beer within the province, for sure. And that's the most disappointing part of this tax, is where we used to have a very inclusive and collaborative beer community in Alberta. This tax and the way that it was kind of rolled out and not really communicated very well has become kind of a divisive feature, for sure.
So not only is this tax having a fiscal effect on businesses, but it's affecting relationships as well. Mike and Beau have been proactive in this situation and have written letters to Joe Ceci, who states that, and I quote, "The changes are intended to make this province more attractive for setting up production facilities that use regional agricultural products," which is actually completely ridiculous because many of the breweries outside of Alberta, like Dieu de Sel, use Alberta barley, showing that the NDP are completely out of touch on this issue. And even David Swan, Liberal MLA, wrote a letter to Ceci on behalf of Mike and Beau, who are his constituents, expressing his concerns over the tax. Obviously, this is a nonpartisan issue. Business prosperity and the economy are nonpartisan issues, but the NDP are doing a great job in making them one. And all these businesses really want is for the tax to be reversed, so they can continue sharing their passion and fairly with the rest of the market. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas.